Welcome back, you beautiful people watching the stream to Gamesters Heypal Season 2 tournament. The match we're going to be bringing to you guys now is going to be Rogue Warfare versus Intoxication. Two teams that have had a couple of roster changes here and there, but overall, I think it could be a fairly even match, seeing as I think Rogue has a couple of subs, so they mightn't be at their top tier game, seeing as they might have some communication issues. But overall, I'm hoping for a very entertaining match. Matsy, what are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, I feel like Rogue Warfare are really going to be on the up and up in the upcoming weeks. I feel that they're a team that has a lot of potential. Even if they're using a couple of subs tonight, I still overall feel like they're going to be a real contender, honestly.
I agree with you there. Yeah. They have a lot of potential, as you were saying, and taking the Androxus first up, and on the red side, Makoa being hovered for Intoxication. This could be they've got a Seraskin hovered as well, taking the early healer and the early tank picks. So Ceras being prioritized, not something you would normally see. Perhaps maybe a Bomb King would have been better, because if Rogue Warfare wanted to respond with a Drogo Bomb King, that would leave some lesser powerful DPS players for Intoxication. So picking up Ruckus and Drogo, obviously Drogo is a very strong damage duo, and Ruckus having a lot of pressure on point and taking them away from that Makoa-Ruckus combo that Intox could have had is a wise choice. I'd assume they'd finish off with Inara Maldamba. What do you think so far, Matt?
Well, it's definitely very smart of Rogue Warfare picking up the Androxus, Drogos, and Ruckus so far. Obviously, now Mitchell hovering over the Maldamba, and Sakura's yet to pick yet. But and here comes potentially the Inara. Would be quite a smart pick, and there we have it. More aggressive team comp, sort of coming out from the Intoxication side. We see a Cassie being hovered now. Cassie and Bomb King can work well together, but we'll have to see how it go. But definitely a really strong comp coming out on the side of Rogue Warfare. Maybe they chose the heroes they did due to the insight of the ex-avant-garde player on their side tonight, Kuntz, or maybe they got their insight from the professional behind the team, Benno99.
Yeah,
the man.
He's the captain of Rogue Warfare. He's their leader. He's not a great player, but that's why he's a manager. So,
Yeah.
and he does a decent job of managing the team, to be fair. But I think the Charlene Cassie is kind of counter picks for the Drogo, and Bomb King is just a solid DPS. So I'd say they're fairly even drafts. If Intox do play well with a triple DPS, then they could do a lot of damage. However, we're going to have to wait and see as to how that goes for them. Don't go away, guys. It's going to be an interesting match. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody watching the stream, all you gorgeous viewers out there tuning in. We have Serpent Beach as the map. The teams are Intoxication and Rogue Warfare. Rogue on the blue side, Intox on the red side. And actually, Calder NZ, who is playing for Rogue Warfare, actually used to play for Intoxication. So he might have some cheeky inside strats that he could throw in here. And current being a former avant-garde player and actually a former teammate of mine back in the Empire days, he might have some strats as well that they could throw out there. So Rogue with a lot of potential, whereas Intox, they're going to need to really step their game up, seeing as they have some fantastic competition ahead of them in Rogue Warfare.
I feel like if we were to pick anyone from the start of the match, I feel like Rogue Warfare are going to most likely come out on top out of this clash, considering they've had training in the Icicle place from Benno. I feel like they're ready. They're ready to do this.
Getting straight into it now. Straight away, the first pick could be crucial. This Makoa from Crikey is going to have to pick some nice hooks. There's a wall cover from Kurun actually, blocking off all that damage, allows him to back off, get some heals. Calder gets pinned straight away, might go down. Lucky to stay alive, pops the repulsor. Crikey is quite low, Calder might go down as well. He might be the first one to go down, he does. Marcus finishes him off as Crikey on Makoa slips out of there, stays alive, gets a kill of his own. Nicely played for them. Cassie is fairly low, as well as Bomb King. The heals from Zambi not coming out just yet. Trying to keep Kurun alive, but that's really it. They're going to have to back out, and they will. Kurun trying to slither away, might get hooked, gets stunned, and hooked! Very well played from Intoxication. The double stun combo completely wrecks him, and that just might be their point straight off the bat.
Absolutely fantastic hooks coming out from Crikey there, managing to get the second and third picks in the game secured for his team. Hopefully he'll be able to maintain that pressure and potentially help his team take a win here.
I think in the minds of Rogue Warfare, seeing as the stun potential that they have in not only Charlene, but the hook from Makoa actually has a bit of a stun to it. Bomb King's Grumpy has some stun to it. Cassie's Disengage has a bit of stun. So Resilience is probably a card they're going to want to look at picking up right now, seeing as if the Charlene Makoa keep combining like that, it could prove to be very deadly, and Amber on the Charlene actually has provided a lot of good cover fire, so he's been doing really well at the start. Obviously, he doesn't have any kills on the board, but I feel like he's had a huge impact so far.
He most certainly has, and hopefully he can try and maintain that for his team. Just continue to do work here, but as we see, both teams are at a bit of a standstill at the moment. Both teams just sort of holding there, getting a little smidges of damage out onto each other slowly but surely, and Mitchell's managed to do a fair bit of damage onto the Makoa, forcing him to back out there. Who will be the one to take the initiative here and start the beginning of the slaughter, the boy?
Tuxedo there comes out with a kill onto Mitchell. Blade of Sakura's answers right back, getting one of his own onto Marcus. Drogo here, he needs to be answered, and Charlene and Cassie are the right champs to do so. They've been doing quite decently to keep him back. Amber pinning Calder again. Calder on the ruckus, needs to be careful of Charlene, or else he's going to keep getting pinned left, right, and center. Amber does get taken down by Mitchell though. Comes in hot with the Androx. Zambi sitting back with the rest of his team. There's the Drogo coming out, trying to hunt someone down. Does get Tuxedo. Perhaps might not have necessarily needed to use it. He does have morale boost, so he can get it back fairly quickly. So if he wants to get it back before next round starts, he very, very easily could, to give them the 5 ult advantage, seeing as I don't think Intox are going to commit. They have all 5, and if they wanted to hold it, then that would probably be their best bet. They could try pushing it with only 18 seconds on the clock. I don't think that'd be the wisest decision for them. So, and with the time ticking down, Drogo's probably won't be able to get his ultimate back, meaning that Rogue Warfare are going to head into the next fight with a 4-5 ult disadvantage.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, being at a disadvantage like that. But honestly, we've seen in the past that teams have managed to come out on top despite being at disadvantages like that, the boy. So this could be one of those situations, but we'll just have to see. as Tuxedo gets a nice stun off onto Blade of Securus. Unfortunately, not able to secure the pick there. Understandable considering how hard it is to aim at an aerial target like Drogos as Bomb King. And it seems that Intoxication have actually managed to get a successful defense there, LeBoy.
Yeah, I'd say that Zambi here for Rogue Warfare has been doing decently. I have been like flicking to him every now and then, and the way he plays on Maldamba it can be a bit weird because at times where I believe he should be healing teammates, he goes out and tries to do a bit of damage or tries to get some stuns off. Now, Maldamba's not a damage champion. He's a healer and a very strong one at that. So I think he should maybe stay back and focus on healing a little more, as Ruckus, Androxus, and Drogo can all supply the damage for his team. So perhaps if Rogue Warfare want to get this first point, Zambi's going to have to sit back, use the ult effectively, combine it perhaps with the Androxus, or maybe Andro could combine with a Nara, but he needs to remind himself that he is a healer. He's not a damage champ. As they head into this first point, the ults are all on the board. Cassius and Shallen's got popped. No kills. Here's the Nara. Here's the Ruckus. Mitchell gets two of his own. Calder takes one. This air assault did come out, but to no prevail. Grumpy Bomb's coming out, trying to do some stun damage, but at the moment, Rogue Warfare looking very dominant so far.
Absolutely fantastic job from Rogue Warfare there, coming out on top despite being at a clear ult disadvantage. I think that honestly they used more ultimates than well, potentially the same amount as what Intoxication used. So maybe if Intox had put a few more ultimates into that push there, they might have come out on top. And here comes the Ancient Rage coming out from Makoa. Blade of Securus shuts that down though. Goodbye, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And here we go. Mitchell gets a nice double kill and a triple kill coming out for him, managing to secure the point for his team. And so Rogue Warfare will be up 2-1.
Very nice indeed from him. And I think that the lack of ults from Intoxication might have costed them that. They don't have an awful lot that they can kind of morph together other than the Bomb King and Ceres. I mean, you can't really combine Cassie with anything. You can't really combine Makoa with anything, and you can't combine Charlene with anything. So I think all the potential in the team fights in terms of ults will have to be between Bomb King and with Ceres. So if they want to try and win those starting fights, that's what they're going to have to do, seeing as there's a lot of potential to combine ults and get some nice team wipes from the side of Rogue Warfare right now, as it looks like Intoxus comfortably trying to hold this. Zambi trying to escape, might not be able to. Calder actually comes to help out as Marcus on the Cassie, dodge rolling her way around, does get a kill eventually, and that's a nice little hold from Intoxication.
Intoxication coming out on top there, but I feel that that's down to Rogue Warfare just splitting apart a little bit. I saw earlier Kunt was by himself, managing to get hooked by the Makoa. So hopefully Rogue Warfare can group up and just take this push together.
Speaking of splitting up, some members of Intox getting a little aggressive and pushing out where I don't think they needed to. They're in a comfortable position right now with 1 minute 5 seconds on the clock. They can very, very easily hold this. If they want to use ults, they can. And if Rogue Warfare want to use ults to try and push it, they can as well. But Intoxication, they don't need to be aggressive. They can sit back. They can play for picks if they want to. Time is on their side right now. Just over 45 seconds on the clock. Slowly ticking down. The payload is moving. If Rogue want to commit and use ults, they very well could so, but they need to remember that if they use them and they are not effective, it's just going to be a huge waste for them and give Intox a huge advantage going into next round, who have some ults of their own that they can use to defend this. And as the Maldamba, Ruckus, Inara, Charlene ults all popped out, looks like they're going to go full out and try to commit to this. Drogo and Andro didn't use their ult, so it's not a full commit just yet. Mitchell gets one back. Tuxedo might go down. Kunt trying to look for him, and he's just popping himself off the point while Kunt stayed on, allowing him to push it 3-1 in the favor of Rogue Warfare.
I'm not sure if you actually saw it towards the end there, LeBoy, but I feel like Zambi made a really fantastic play, just using his ultimate to keep his teammate alive. Obviously not staying alive in the end there, but I just feel like it's definitely really well played by him in order to do whatever it takes just to keep his team in the game. So well played to him so far.
Yeah, the Maldamba ult can be a really good crowd control one, because if there are people on point and they get stunned by it, they can't move back onto it. We all have been in a situation where we're trying to hold down a point, we get Maldamba ulted off, and they push it because we physically cannot turn around. And that's what he's done there. He makes the enemies immobile, and he just takes full advantage of it by trying to at least get some kills. Or I suppose it's passive healing in a sense. He's healing them without healing them. He keeps them alive without actually right-clicking, as Mitchell with some nice picks there. And actually I saw Drogos and Bomb King go head-to-head and clash their ults. Bomb King did come out victorious though right now. Kelder getting quite aggressive, pushing up, getting some picks where he can. Marcus dodge rolls in, but immediately regrets his decision. He was getting pressured by quite a few members of Rogue Warfare. Intox have some ult if they want to try to commit to this, and they're really going to have to. Tuxedo goes in on his own and gets punished big time for it. Crikey there on his own as well, can pop the ult. He will have to if he wants to get his team in it. He does. Marcus and Amber get kills of their own. This could be a point taken back for Intoxication.
And here it is, inching towards what could be the end of the game. A nice Maldamba ult to try and keep the enemy team off the point, but will it be enough? Rogue Warfare basically forced off the point by the members of Intoxication here. Rogue Warfare trying to flow in as best they can. Mitchell's going to try and take on Marcus, and who will come out on top? It'll be Marcus this time around. And it seems Blade of Securus is the only man left for his team. Going to be ultimately taken out here. 96% for Rogue Warfare, but I feel like Intoxication are going to take this point.
I think the problem for Rogue Warfare that time around was they could get people low, but they couldn't finish them off, which is probably their undoing, seeing as if you're going to try and take someone low, you want to try and get them all the way down. Some nice picks there from Caldo to try and just hold the point, as they're going to probably do so successfully, seeing as the way Intox play, it's very, very passive. They don't like jumping in. I mean, Tuxedo likes jumping in. He poppies himself into the fights all the time, but it doesn't really do a whole lot because he's trying to 1v5 people, which is where he needs to improve, in my opinion. As I think the resilience picks from Intoxication is a bit of a strange one. It can help with, I think it helps reduce the knockback of Drogo's Fire Spit. It reduces the stun from Maldamba and from Inara, but I think resilience needs to be picked up by a few more members of Rogue Warfare now, as Charlin is he's landing his stuns really successfully.
Yes, he is, and we see him managing to get another pick there onto Calder, and his teammate Tuxedo getting a pick onto Zambi, but couldn't responds in turn on the Inara onto Charlin, which is Amber. And here we see Bomb King Tuxedo trying to take on Mitchell, but Crikey's going to finish off that pick there. He's trying to hold it off as best he can, trying to push that point forward. And both teams are really stacked on the point at the moment. Who will come out on top, LeBoy?
With just under a minute left, I don't foresee Intox pushing this in. If they did, it would be very nice for them, put them at a 3-3 tie, leaving the last point as the decider. There's the Maldamba coming out though, and Ruckus as well, using an awful lot of ults to try and contest something that was in their favor from the start. Still holding on to Inara, Drogo, and Androxus's ult. It looks like Intox can probably gather their 5-stacker ults for the next fight, as I don't foresee them wasting any to try and push this. Whereas Rogue Warfare are going to be down a couple ults going into the next round, which they have proven to come back. They have had less ults in that last round, and they managed to win the fight, seeing as Intox can't really combine their ults. So as long as they hold on to the Andro and Inaras at least, I foresee them taking the next point if they hold this, which looks like they're going to.
I can completely agree with that, but it seems that the Ceres ult's going to come out. I'm a bit surprised about that, honestly, considering we're so close to the end of the round. Maybe Intoxication feels like they can take this, LeBoy.
I really disagree. I don't think they're going to have a chance at taking this. They need to push the point so far in overtime. They've got to have one person on that point at all times. If one gets picked off, they can convert that to 2 picks, to 3 picks, to 4 picks, and eventually to win them the point. So if Intox want to push this, they're really going to need to stick together, and they're going to have to keep each other alive. Because once one goes down, while it's so close to Rogue Warfare's spawn, it could be a huge detriment to their team. So they're going to have to play at their top of their game. There's Mitchell actually using the ult, trying to keep his team alive. Makoa did as well. This is going to be all or nothing for Intoxication. Rogue Warfare doing their best to hold on. Mitchell does manage to 1v1 Amber right now. There goes Gibbo. Crikey, the only one that's alive, rolls off the point. So they use a couple ults for nothing there. Unfortunately for them, Maldamba and Nara have ults for the side of Rogue Warfare, who are 3-2 up against Intox, who have Cassie, Charlene, Bomb King, and almost Ceres. How do you foresee this next fight going, Matt?
Well, considering that Intoxication are at a clear ult advantage here, they could potentially take this point, LeBoy. But as we've seen before, Rogue Warfare can come out on top despite being at a disadvantage with ultimates. So we'll just have to see how things will go as we get into this next push shortly.
4, 3.
I think Gibbo, as the Ceres for Intoxication, he needs to be really, really careful, seeing as there are 3 members of Rogue Warfare with triple cauterize. So he's going to want to stay really far back, use long-range shields as best as he can, or else he's just going to be completely negated, and there's going to be no healing. As I say that, there's actually 4 triple courts against Zambi, so Intoxication definitely sees Zambi as a huge threat right now, as Ku and Cal to pick up picks. There was the Bomb King ult immediately countered by Ruckus, seeing as while Ruckus is ulting, the Bomb King stun, I don't think it actually affects him, so nicely played to pop that to avoid getting stunned, as Rogue Warfare looking very, very confident and strong in taking this point.
Completely agree with you there, LeBoy. I feel like this could be Intoxication's downfall, and I say that because coming into that push on the point there, they basically used all their ults not really in sync, more just using them for the sake of it, not really attributing towards much, I feel. So that, I feel, was ultimately their undoing coming into this last push. As we see, Rogue Warfare are going to be able to take this map 4-2. Very well played on both teams' parts.
Rogue Warfare coming out on top, and I do think that your point about the ult advantage and combining them and using them is one of the reasons why I think Warfare did manage to beat Intox quite comfortably, seeing as they had the ability to combine ults. It wasn't very niche, whereas Intox, they only had 2 to combine if they wanted to, which was the Ceres, and I believe they had the Bomb King they could have combined. But unfortunately, it is going to be the win for Rogue Warfare. Very nice to see them play for the first time and coming out on top reasonably comfortably. Looking at the scoreboard at the end here, having to pick out just one person, although in-game, I felt Mitchell had such a big impact on the match for Rogue Warfare. And looking at the stats at the end, it does really confirm that with 25 kills, the next highest only being 15, did die 14 times, but managed to pick up 14 assists. And although I don't want to just sit here and say, you know, just because you have good kill stats as a damage, it means you're the best player. But the impact that he had overall, I feel, was very, very important to Rogue Warfare's victory. What's your take on it, Matt?
Well, honestly, if I had to choose a standout player from either side this match, I'd have to pick Zambi, honestly. I feel like he really brought a lot to his team, and without him, they wouldn't have had the success that they had.
Zambi was a bit of a hit and miss for me, because at times I saw him doing things that, you know, were quite extraordinary. And Kunt as well is another player that I saw doing some nice things here and there. But in terms of strict damage, I think Mitchell was the best, obviously by the score sheet. But since we gave the MVP off to Hurricane on Bomb King last time round, I think we're going to head over and give it to Zambi, actually. So well played to him, picking up the MVP for this Serpent Beach match. Rogue Warfare versus Intoxication. Well played to both teams. We'll be back with you guys very shortly when we get the next match underway.